Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangai Stushtvagam Sastanubhih Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indro Vridhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to this session, part 2, Spiritual Insights into Hinduism. Now, as far as the Hindu tradition goes, the concept of the Almighty is a bit different. And because of this concept, the whole tradition becomes unique and different. So firstly, there is no God in Hinduism. There is only Isvara. Because when we use the term God, it means we take the meaning of the God as defined in the word God by different other traditions, and then it causes problems. Because the concept of God in other traditions is a person sitting somewhere. It can be a person or some force sitting somewhere, removed far away from us, and is watching us with a kind of a dashboard and checking upon us and controlling us. Whereas in Hinduism, although there are some sects who do believe in similar God, in a Ishvara who is similar to God, but not all of them. In fact, the Hindu followers can be categorized in these three major categories. The Nastikas, the Astikas, and the Astikas also of two types. Nastikas means the non-believers. Now, the non-believers are defined as those who do not believe in the word of the Vedas. And therefore, they also do not believe in supportive scriptures which are connected with the Vedas. But still, they do believe in the code of conduct, the Dharma Shastras, and they subscribe to the customs some of the behavior, outward expressions of the Astikas. And they are also Hindus. Now, when we come to Astikas, the believers, there are again two types. A set of believers who do not believe in Isvara, in the Almighty. They consider the whole system as a self-contained system where there is no necessity of a Ishvara, and the whole thing is working on itself governed by certain laws. This is how the whole structure is. But they do believe in the word of Vedas and the scriptures connected with the Vedas. Then there are Astikas who not only believe in the word of the Vedas, they believe in an existence of Ishvara. And again, they are of three major types: the Dvaita, the Visishta Advaita, and the Advaita. Now, the Dvaita type believers or Astikas, they, of course, as I said, they believe in the word of the Vedas, but they believe in Ishvara, an Ishvara. I don't want to use the word an Ishvara. So, who believe in Ishvara, and that Ishvara is very similar to the concept of God, because that Ishvara is somewhere in some loka, some heaven-like thing, and there the Ishvara located there, sitting there, and is watching all of us, controlling all of us, managing the whole affair of the whole universe. Then there are the Visishta Advaita sect or the group who believe in Ishvara little differently. They say that Ishvara is there, of course, and we are all connected to that Ishvara. So that way we are never far away from that Ishvara. We are connected to it, and we he takes care of us. He manages our affairs, and the whole universe functions. Then the third category of believers are the Advaita type. They believe in the Ishvara and, of course, the word of the Vedas, but their belief is quite different. They say all that is here is Ishvara. In fact, there is nothing other than Ishvara. The whole creation has come out of Ishvara and is part and parcel of Ishvara. The Ishvara is expressing itself through this whole universe, through you, through me, through all the beings, living beings, non-living beings, whatever they are. So this is how they believe. It's I will edit the word. It's not this is how they believe. This is how they understand the things. In fact, here there is no real belief system. The definition of Ishvara is such, whether you accept or you don't accept, but there is no belief system. It is just like saying, pointing out towards the sun and then saying, just a second, I don't know whether I'm visible or not. Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah. So all that is here is Ishvara. So pointing out at sun, I can say this is sun. Now there is no belief in it. Either you accept it as sun, or you say I don't accept it. I think sun is something else. The moon is something else. So that is your choice. But Ishvara is like that. Whatever you see, whatever you cannot see, all that is part of that Ishvara. So there is no faith involved, or there is no belief system involved. There is an understanding involved. And this becomes the basis of the majority of the Hindu culture you see. We try to find expressions, and we try to worship different expressions of Ishvara in different forms. And that is why even I have seen those, they are called the Gharana musicians, the musicians of other belief system, mostly from Islam and all, and the traditional music system, okay, in India. Even though they may not be believing in the Ishvara, which the Vedas say, I don't know, personally they may be, but at least they are not exhibiting it. But when they enter the hall, or when they open their instrument of music, they will touch it and put it on their head. They will show reverence to even the music box. And even those wrestlers, the kabaddi players, when they enter the field, they touch the soil, put it in their head, on their head, and then they start their game. So all this is, even I have seen in India, many of the bus drivers, public bus drivers I've seen, before starting the bus in the start of the day, they will touch the steering, the accelerator pedal, etc., and show the sign of namaskara, and then they start the engine. So this is about the concept of Ishvara in Hinduism, and that makes it such a unique system. We have those who do not believe in Ishvara. We have those who believe in Ishvara, and all of them coexist. There is no enmity among them, and each one doesn't want to destroy the other. They are accommodative. That makes Hinduism so much more accommodative. Then is next one. So all that is here is Ishvara. Then what about the Devatas? As we had already discussed in our last session, that there are many gods in Hinduism. Firstly, they are not gods. Firstly, there is no god in Hinduism, as I already said. It is only Ishvara. Yes, there are many devatas. So, who are those devatas? If there is, if everything is Ishvara, there is nothing other than Ishvara. All that is here and elsewhere is Ishvara. Then where do the devatas come? So we have to understand how this whole universe and the concept of Ishvara is explained in the Mundaka Upanishad. The Upanishad says to describe Ishvara, this whole universe has come out of this Ishvara, just as the web of a spider comes out of the Ishvara. Elsewhere in the Mandukya Upanishad, it says, just as the dream is part of the dreamer, is not away from the dreamer. Similarly, the dream world is part of the dreamer. Similarly, this whole universe is part of that Ishvara. Okay? So it comes out of Ishvara and it is very much part of the Ishvara. Ishvara is not away from it. It is not like Ishvara gave birth to the universe and then got separated. It, the universe came and remains part and parcel of that Ishvara. Just as the plant comes out of the seed and remains part and parcel of the seed. I mean, in this example, the sapling up to a small level. Later on, the seed is no more there. It's only the roots and the trunk. So the universe remains connected with the Ishvara. It is never away from the Ishvara. So if that is the case, then what are the devatas? Devatas are the different aspects of this universe who are recognized in a personified form. Like in this whole universe, there can be water principle. There can be water in different forms. Now, all the water and water bodies and water in different forms available in this universe have been, say, personified in a particular way and given the name Varuna. So, Varuna becomes the devata of water. Now, what is water? Water is part of this universe. Since it is part of this universe, it is also part of this Ishvara. It's an expression of Ishvara. But in a limited way, water is different from the remaining universe. Similarly, in a limited way, Varuna is different from the Ishvara. How it is different? Like a subset of a superset. Ishvara is the superset. It, it contains everything. And Varuna is one portion of it, one part of it. Say fire, the fire principle. Now, fire principle in this whole universe, heat, fire, etc., everything is, is personified in the form of Agni Devata. So Agni Devata represents all the fire principle in this universe. So wherever the fire is there, wherever heat is there, or wherever that heat energy is possible, hidden or visible, it is governed by the Agni Devata. Now, Agni Devata, so what is the relationship between the Agni Devata and Ishvara? It is same as what is the relationship between my small little finger and me. In a way, the small little finger is not me, it is different from me. But in another way, it is me. Because when you pull my little finger, I feel pulled, I respond. Okay. Similarly, when I worship Agni Devata, in a way, I am worshipping the Ishvara, because Agni Devata is no different from the Ishvara. It is one aspect of that entire Ishvara. So this is the concept of Devatas and Ishvara. And that is why we have millions and millions of Devatas. They say 33 crores of Devatas. So it's just a number, just to say that there are many, many Devatas possible. Why? Because how many aspects are there in this universe? Many, 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 and many new aspects maybe we may start discovering. So that becomes a Devata. So Google has become a Devata now. You don't have to ask anybody. You just imagine earlier in India, I remember just 20 years back, 25 years back, if I have to go for shopping, I have to ask people which market should I visit, where is it located, how to reach there, and then somebody will give me the direction, and then I will reach. Or if I have to reach an address, again, I may search in the static map and roughly find the location. But then I will, at every nook and corner, I have to ask the person, where is this address? Where is it located? So it takes so much of time. Sometimes I'm misguided and I land nowhere, or I keep moving around and going round and round in circles. Google has made my life so easy. I don't have to ask anybody. Just set the things on my map. I even know roughly how much time it will take, when I will be reaching, which is the fastest route, where there is a road jam, whatever. So Google has become uh, uh, um, it represents the aspect of information of this universe. So Google is a devata for me. So new devata has come up, Google devata. So we have no problems. We can have many more devatas, and they are all the expressions of this Ishvara. It came out of Ishvara, is sustained by the Ishvara only. So this is about the devatas. So do you mean to say that this inert universe is also Ishvara? Because there are many inert things in this universe. So is it also Ishvara? Well, firstly, there is nothing inert. This word inert has been coined for, for a particular level of understanding. How will you explain a child? How will you explain a child the difference between something which is living and something which is non-living? So we have coined the word, or a child or a person of an average understanding. We say things which move, which grows, or which reproduce, etc. They are um, lively things, and the remaining things are inert. But really speaking, there is nothing inert, not even an electron. It's not inert. If you go into quantum physics, they say every electron responds to you. When you watch it, when you pay attention to it, it uh, it responds in a particular way. It behaves in a particular way. And when you don't look at it, then it behaves in some other way. So even an electron understands a conscious observer. A conscious observer guides the behavior of an electron, and it responds. So even an electron is not inert. It is responsive. So it is sort of conscious. We have to redefine what is being conscious and what is not being conscious. If we go by just a limited definition of psychology and say this is only conscious and rest is not conscious or inert and all, those are childish explanations. But in essence, anything which responds is not inert. This is how I define it. And this is the most logical definitions I have come across. I define it in the sense I have gathered that knowledge from different sources, and then I'm defining it here in front of you. It's not that I have found a new definition. Okay. Now, here, mm, because that concept of devatas have come, I have to explain this, because it has become a fashion to ridicule different types of prayers, the customs, etc., etc. But secretly, everybody accepts the power of prayers. Not only secretly, even if you go with a scientific temperament, the power of prayers and intent has been proven. And what a beautiful way of doing things, simplifying things. The abstract concepts of this universe has been personified so that you can relate to those concepts, those principles. I won't use the word concept, I am editing it. The principles. So the, the principles, abstract principles of this universe have been personified so that an ordinary person can relate to it with that person through prayers, through communication, through putting in an intent, through asking, requesting, and asking the things to change, um, or trying to understand it, whichever way. And this power of intent has been even proven through various experiments done by the scientists using the quantum physics theory. Uh, it's a very spooky thing because do you know what they have found? Things change retrospectively when the conscious observer puts an intent. If we are not getting into it right now, retrospective changes has a lot of ramifications. I'll explain it here. A simplified experiment. They did experiments with random number generators, and they asked a group of people, maybe individually. So a random number generator, say, we will simplify the complex experiment even further for understanding's sake. Say a random number generator generates digits 0 to 9, say, or 1 to 10, whatever you want to call. Okay. So the average is 5. So each time, for a large number of times, the digits are generated, and the average over the long run becomes 5. Now, people were asked in the experiment that you put an intent either to increase the average or decrease the average. Means what? More numbers beyond 5 should appear, or more numbers before 5 should appear, whatever the case may be. And when the people started putting the intent, they found that there was a significant shift in the average of the numbers generated, the digits generated by the random number generator. So that itself proved that the intent can even move the random number generators. So if an intent can move a random number generator, which has no connection with the human mind or the conscious observer, then in the similar way, a conscious observer or a conscious person can put an intent and influence other things too in this universe, who are the devatas. The spooky thing about it, about this experiment is, the subjects were asked to put an intent, and then the random number generators started generating the numbers, and the numbers were recorded. Okay, and the results were shown. In another case, what they found, random number generators generated the numbers and the records were kept hidden. Nobody saw those records. And after, so the number has already been generated. The record has been kept. Nobody has seen the records. They call it record, okay? But I'm used to that pronunciation, record, okay? Record is that recording thing, whereas record is the document. So I'm sorry about it, but being used to a particular type of pronunciation for many, many years, naturally that one comes up. So the records were kept, and say after a few months, the subjects were asked that you put an intent that the average is more than 5 or less than 5. And they put the intent individually. And when they saw the record, again they found the intent has worked. There was a shift in the average depending on the type of intent which was put. Even though the phenomena has occurred months back, but since nobody observed it, it was in a potential state. The results were in a potential state. And when an intent was put to, say, increase the average, the averages did increase retrospectively. Retrospectively means what? The subject was actually influencing the past, not the future, the past, which has not been observed by anybody, which was in a potential state. And then later on, when the records were observed, what in the quantum physics language, collapsing the possibility, the potential was collapsed into a reality. They found the results were showing significant shift from the average depending upon the intent. So this powerful is an intent. And we do accept across the traditions, across the geographies, okay, the power of prayer. Every one of us in different regions know about it, and across generations. So we can't laugh at them. And but then it has, in India at least, there was a fashion to laugh at every custom where you cannot show the direct cause and effect relationship. So they used to laugh at the Shraddha Paksha. Shraddha Paksha means when you are feeding the crows or somebody, or giving giving water to the sun god. I'm again using God, sun devata, Surya devata, and they will say, how will this water reach the sun? What is this waste? It had become a fashion. But those who were criticizing themselves believed in the power of prayers. So when you pray here, how do the effect of the prayer goes miles and miles away? But again, when you are illogically doing something and you have a group of people supporting you, anything and everything is fine. So coming back to our concept, we do relate to devatas. We do try to ask for changes as per our convenience. And if it is possible, if that possibility exists in this universe, they do respond and changes do happen. That is the power of an intent. So what about worshipping and prayers? We do not worship many Isvara. We worship only Isvara, which is everything. Yes, we do worship many aspects of that Ishvara as different devatas, but really speaking, we are only worshipping Ishvara. So the next question is, does Ishvara operate law of karma? The answer is both yes and no. Ishvara is operating the law of karma. No, the answer is no if you consider Ishvara as a person with a dashboard in his control systems in the heaven, and then trying to operate the law of karma. And then somebody gives some bribe, the bribe reaches him, then he says, okay, your karma, I dismiss, and all your punishments are forgiven. Now you can go ahead. It's not like that. The law of karma operates like a system, just as when you go to a bank, in your country, even this example won't work, but at least in India, it works. You go to a bank, you present a check, and the cashier gives you money. Okay. So who gave you the money? Well, the bank gave you the money. So should you be obligated to the bank? No, not at all. It was your own money, and the bank gave. And who, really speaking, the owner of the bank or the top boss of the bank or the board which is governing the bank gave you the money. But were they interfering in the day-to-day affairs of that bank? No, it was the system. The rules are laid, the procedures are laid, and if your account has some money, and if you present the check, the money will come out. Or you put your card in the ATM machine, if the account has money, the money will come out. Nobody needs to personally intervene in the day-to-day affairs of the operation of bank. Similarly, this whole universe is uh, mm, is a palpable, intelligent being, and it operates automatically. It is there inbuilt in this whole system, and there is nothing inert in it. Everything is palpably live, conscious. Okay, even an electron is conscious. Everything is conscious because it's an expression of that Ishvara. And within that intelligence, the law of karma operates through each and every particle of this universe. And there is no external intervention. And the intent also which we put is also part of that law, where the possibility of putting an intent and the possibility of a change, everything is inherently inbuilt in that whole system. So this is how the law of karma operates. And there's another thing which is important, we must know. There is a complexity. Law of karma, many other belief systems, faiths, traditions, they believe. But then there, just a second. Yeah. But there they have a problem. There you have to believe that the law of karma is operating. but there is no proof of it. Firstly, the first anomaly, the problem which I face, if law of karma is operating and they believe in that, then how do you show it? Then they try to show it. A person who performed good acts finally got good results. No, we see enough examples in our lives where a person, um, in fact, did wrong things and became more happy. The result was happiness. So, how do you say that doing right things will give right results? They do not have the right answers. Again, you have to totally rely on a belief system. Whereas in Hinduism, this law of karma uh, is explained differently because we believe in reincarnation. Reincarnation means multiple lives, a cyclical uh, living, cyclical system of life and death and afterlife, etc. And this itself is connected with the operation of law of karma. How? I'll tell you. If I am born in a rich family with all comforts, is it ad hoc? Is it arbitrary? Or is it governed by some law? So if I believe in the cyclical birth and death cycle, okay, cyclical birth, the reincarnation theory, then it is easy to explain that whatever was done in my past births, the effect of that I see it in this birth. Whereas there are many other faith systems, the traditions, who do not believe in multiple births. So in their case, the present birth becomes an ad hoc event, an arbitrary event. So somebody is born rich or somebody is born poor, somebody is born sick, somebody is born handicapped. They have no clue how to explain it. Then they say it is the will of the God. Now, will of the God, if God is such a person who can just distribute pain and pleasure at will in an arbitrary fashion, then one has to be careful about such a God. Okay. Whereas in Hinduism, it is not like that. It is all connected and it is logically connected. There is a reason. And that's how in the past birth, certain things happen. And that's how you get this kind of birth. Well, somebody can say that even this is a belief system. In the past birth, something happened. That's why you got this kind of birth. How do you know that in the past birth something happened? That's why you got it. What is the connection? Well, there is where the astrology comes in, the predictive astrology. And I have seen it myself that as the child is born, even before the astrologer sees the child, this astrologer can tell about the child. And this astrology is based on purely on the law of karma. They say in the past birth, this person performed such and such such types of action. Therefore, this person is going to be born in such situations and such events will happen in the life. And it can be predicted without knowing about the person. I remember, and if Dr. Papneja is here available, he is the witness. There was a case where somebody's horoscope came to me, and I had to check upon a few things. So to check upon a few things, I wanted to verify whether the details of the horoscope are correct or not. So I told the person that if this horoscope is correct, then this person as a child must have been separated from the parents. parents or the mother or somebody else must have taken care of this child. When I said this, the person who gave me the horoscope details, he said, no, everything was normal. The child is with the parents right from the birth. There is no such thing. Then I said, if that is the case, then there is no point looking at it further and telling about things. Let us move on. Then after a month or so, suddenly I receive a call from that person. Navneetji, you were right. We found out this person was separated from the mother, was adopted by his Masi. Masi means mother's sister. And he started living with them, and now they are his parents. I said, that's fine. He was removed from the original biological parents. This is what the horoscope says. Neither I have seen, nor the person who supplied it had seen it, but it was visible. If this can be predicted and verified, that means there is a science behind it, and you cannot dismiss it. And this is how the law of karma operates. And if law of karma operates, then reincarnation theory becomes automatic. This birth is because of a previous birth. That's all. If there was a previous birth, the same logic applies to the previous birth. That means there was a birth previous to that, then there was a birth previous to that. Like that, things can go on. And similarly, there will be a birth after this, after that, after that, after that, after that. So it can be uh, logically and with live examples, it can be shown that reincarnation theory fits in well with the law of karma. Whereas in some of the religions, this reincarnation do not happen. And then the whole thing depends on the belief system. Not only on the belief system, there are other complexities which we are going to see. You must be aware of the word proselytizing. Proselytization. Now, this is connected with the concept of not only of the Almighty, which they have, also because of the belief in a certain life and death cycle. Mostly the Abrahamic religions, they do not believe in reincarnation theory. So there is only one birth. Randomly you are born. You can't, there is no reason given. And there is only one life. And after that, you will be either permanently sent to good place, something like heaven, or a not so good place, something like hell. Now, so there is only one birth and not multiple births. It has its own ramification. Because there is only one birth, culturally, you become a desperate person. Because you have only one birth, and whatever you have to achieve within this life. So that is one problem. Second thing is, at the end of this birth, when you die, you are buried, and then someday there will be a day of judgment. And then, based on if you are a believer, then that Almighty will be pleased with you, the God will be pleased with you, and you will be sent to the heavens. And if you are non-believer, then you will be sent to the hell. Not only that, if you do some confession before your death and ask for forgiveness, all the actions which you performed in this life which were wrong, they get wiped out. Now, this makes a person very irresponsible. One can keep doing wrong things and wait for the last moment, and then they say, I ask for forgiveness. So whole thing is forgiven. So there is no accountability. There is a desperateness in this life. So because of that desperation, person can resort to wrong things, doing wrong things. And then there's a provision of wiping it out at one stroke just by saying sorry. So this is one part. Second part is the belief is that after your death, you are buried. And when all the people on this earth starts believing in the same concept of Almighty or the God which you have, then that God will appear and there will be a day of judgment. And then all those who are buried will come out, and then there will be a judgment whether the person should be sent to hell or heaven. And everybody is waiting for that judgment day. And for that judgment day to happen fast, quicker, it is imperative that everyone, every individual on this earth starts believing in your concept of Almighty or God. So there is a pressure to proselytize, to convert, to bring those people in your fold. And that is your religious duty. That helps. You are helping your religion in doing that. And this makes the whole thing difficult. It makes it complex. So one religion's survival depends upon engulfing or eating away the other religions. And yet they have to coexist. It is like coexistence of a cow and a hungry tiger. So they are coexisting. How long will they? The cow can't protect. Cow doesn't bother. Cow is not going to eat the tiger, but the tiger wants to eat the cow. In fact, its survival is based upon eating the cow only. And we have to coexist. This is how the problems in this world arise. Because you see how the concept of Isvara, the Almighty, the concept of rebirth, uh, uh, those conceptual things finally boil down to behaviors and interactions among the communities, among the people. And this is what we see in this world. So that is why understanding Hinduism, how Hinduism is accommodative, not only accommodative, it is not engulfing, it is not eating away anybody. It can really preserve other faith systems because it doesn't have that pressure to convert. Whereas some of the faith systems or the traditions or the religions on this globe, they have inherently built system of capturing, converting, and engulfing other faiths. And this is where one has to understand the importance of Hinduism. Hinduism and similar other faith systems or traditions actually preserve diversity. Whereas there are some other belief systems or traditions or religions who cannot tolerate diversity. With this, I stop here and throw open the session for question and answers. And before that, I wish you a very happy Diwali. It is not a festival of only lights, because all the festivals are of lights. You can always, in every festival, people light up their homes. It is a festival of commemorating the arrival of the hero of Ramayana, Lord Rama, returning back after 14 years to Ayodhya. Okay, so it is a festival of Lord Rama's coming back home. not just a festival of lights. Thank you so much. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yeah. So it's open for questions.